Hold on to your seats, hip-hop heads, because we're about to dive into a scandal that's shaking the music world to its core. In a bombshell that's making waves from coast to coast, 50 Cent has just dropped what he claims is explosive proof linking Sean Diddy Combs to the murder of legendary rapper Notorious B.I.G. This isn't just another rap beef. We're talking about potentially solving one of the most infamous unsolved murders in music history. Picture this. It's a quiet day in the hip-hop world when suddenly 50 Cent's social media explodes with a series of posts that would make even the most seasoned gossip columnist's jaw drop. The rapper, known for his no-holds-barred approach to calling out his peers, has apparently been sitting on a powder keg of information, and he's finally lit the fuse. But let's rewind for a moment. The murder of Christopher Wallace, better known as the Notorious B.I.G. or Biggie Smalls, has been a dark cloud hanging over the hip-hop community for over 2 decades. The Brooklyn rapper was gunned down in Los Angeles on March 9, 1997, in a drive-by shooting that has spawned countless theories, documentaries, and late-night conversations among fans. Despite years of investigation, the case remains unsolved, until now, if 50 Cent is to be believed. So, what exactly is this explosive proof that 50 claims to have? According to his social media barrage, it's a combination of never-before-seen documents, witness statements, and what he calls irrefutable evidence that places Diddy at the center of a conspiracy to have Biggie killed. It's the kind of allegation that, if true, would not only solve a cold case, but potentially bring down one of the most powerful figures in the music industry. Now, it's no secret that 50 Cent and Diddy have had their fair share of beef over the years. From subtle jabs in interviews to outright disses in songs, these two hip-hop moguls have never exactly been besties. But this takes their rivalry to a whole new level. We're not talking about a war of words anymore. We're talking about potential criminal charges. The hip-hop community is in an uproar. Artists who have worked closely with Diddy over the years are suddenly finding themselves in the uncomfortable position of having to choose sides. Do they stand by the man who helped build their careers, or do they distance themselves from what could be the biggest scandal in hip-hop history? And let's not forget about the fans. Social media is ablaze with reactions, theories, and heated debates. Long-dormant Biggie fan accounts are suddenly springing back to life, dissecting every word of 50's claims. It's like the whole world is playing amateur detective, trying to piece together a puzzle that's been missing pieces for far too long. But here's where it gets really interesting. 50 Cent isn't just making vague accusations, he's naming names. According to his posts, he's got evidence implicating not just Diddy, but a whole network of industry insiders who allegedly helped cover up the truth. We're talking about record executives, former police officers, and even other artists. It's like a who's who of hip-hop, and if 50's claims pan out, it could rewrite the entire history of the genre. Of course, Diddy's camp isn't taking these accusations lying down. Within hours of 50's initial posts, Diddy's legal team released a statement calling the claims baseless, defamatory, and a desperate attempt for attention. They're threatening legal action, but here's the thing. If 50 really does have the goods, a lawsuit might be the least of Diddy's worries. As the story continues to unfold, we're left with more questions than answers. Is 50 Cent really sitting on the smoking gun that will finally bring justice for Biggie? Or is this just another chapter in the ongoing saga of hip-hop rivalries? And perhaps most importantly, how will this affect Biggie's legacy and the loved ones he left behind? One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. With each passing hour, new details are emerging, new players are entering the fray, and the stakes are getting higher. The hip-hop world is holding its collective breath, waiting to see what bombshell will drop next. But let's take a step back and consider the bigger picture here. If 50 Cent's claims turn out to be true, we're not just talking about solving a murder. We're talking about potentially unraveling the entire fabric of the hip-hop industry as we know it. Think about it. Diddy has been a central figure in hip-hop for decades. He's launched careers, shaped trends, and built an empire that extends far beyond music. If he were to fall, who knows how many dominoes would tumble with him? And what about the other names 50 is dropping? We're talking about people who have been pillars of the hip-hop community for years. If they're implicated in this, it could lead to a mass exodus of talent from major labels, a reshuffling of power dynamics, and a complete re-evaluation of who we consider legends in the game. But here's where it gets even more complicated. The murder of Biggie has long been linked to the death of Tupac Shakur, which occurred just 6 months earlier. For years, theories have swirled about a connection between the two killings, with some suggesting they were the result of the infamous East Coast-West Coast hip-hop rivalry of the 1990s. If 50's claims about Diddy are true, does that shed new light on Tupac's murder as well? Are we on the verge of solving not one, but two of music's greatest mysteries? The implications are staggering. We could be looking at a complete rewriting of hip-hop history. Textbooks might need to be updated, documentaries re-edited, and countless lyrics re-examined in a new context. It's like finding out that everything you thought you knew about your favorite subject in school was based on a lie. And let's not forget about the legal ramifications. If there's truth to 50's claims, we could be looking at criminal charges, civil lawsuits, and a legal battle that could drag on for years. The discovery process alone would be a goldmine for hip-hop historians and true crime enthusiasts alike. But amidst all this speculation and excitement, it's important to remember the human cost at the center of this story. Biggie was more than just a rapper. He was a son, a father, a friend. His murder left a hole in the hearts of his loved ones that has never fully healed. If 50's claims lead to justice for Biggie, it could bring a measure of closure to those who have been waiting for answers for over 2 decades. As we wait for more details to emerge, the hip-hop community is in a state of suspended animation. Tours are being postponed, collaborations are being reconsidered, and everyone is waiting to see where the chips will fall. It's like the entire industry is holding its breath, knowing that the next revelation could change everything. Social media, of course, is having a field day with all of this. Memes are being created faster than you can say it was all a dream, and amateur sleuths are combing through years of lyrics and interviews, looking for clues that might have been hiding in plain sight all along. It's like a real-time crowdsourced investigation playing out on our screens. But amidst all the chaos and speculation, there's one voice that's been noticeably silent: Biggie's mother, Voletta Wallace. For years, she's been a tireless advocate for her son, pushing for answers and keeping his memory alive. If 50's claims turn out to be true, how will she react? Will this bring her the closure she's been seeking, or will it only open old wounds? As the hours tick by, the anticipation continues to build. Will 50 Cent release more evidence? Will Diddy break his silence and address the accusations head-on? And perhaps most intriguingly, will other artists start to come forward with their own pieces of the puzzle? One thing's for certain: this story is far from over. With each passing moment, the potential for new revelations grows. The hip-hop world is on the edge of its seat, and the rest of us are along for the ride. Because in the end, this isn't just about solving a murder or exposing industry secrets. It's about truth, justice, and the very soul of hip-hop itself. So buckle up, folks. If 50 Cent's claims are even half as explosive as he says they are, we're in for one wild ride. The next chapter in hip-hop history is being written as we speak, and trust me, you won't want to miss a single beat. But let's dive deeper into the history that led us to this explosive moment. The rivalry between Diddy and 50 Cent isn't new. It's been simmering for years, occasionally boiling over in diss tracks and public spats. 50 has long been critical of Diddy's business practices and his influence in the industry. In fact, back in 2006, 50 released a track called Hip Hop, where he first hinted at Diddy's potential involvement in Biggie's death, rapping, "Who shot Biggie Smalls? If we don't get them, they're gonna kill us all. Man, Puffy know who hit that nupsa, man." At the time, those lyrics were dismissed by many as just another shot in the ongoing feud between the two rappers. But now, with 50 claiming to have concrete evidence, those old lyrics are being re-examined in a whole new light. Was 50 sitting on this information all along, waiting for the right moment to strike? Or has he recently come into possession of new evidence that's too explosive to ignore? And let's not forget about Diddy's own complicated history with Biggie. The two were close friends and collaborators, with Diddy serving as Biggie's mentor and producer. But there have always been whispers about tension between them, particularly in the months leading up to Biggie's death. Some have suggested that Biggie was planning to leave Bad Boy Records, potentially taking his immense talent and star power to a rival label. Could this have been a motive for Diddy? if 50's accusations turn out to be true. Then there's the East Coast-West Coast rivalry to consider. At the height of the feud, Diddy and Bad Boy Records represented the East Coast, while Death Row Records, led by Suge Knight, held down the West. The rivalry was more than just musical. It was personal, often violent, and ultimately deadly. Both Tupac and Biggie lost their lives in the crossfire. If Diddy was indeed involved in Biggie's death, as 50 claims, it would turn everything we thought we knew about that era on its head. But here's where it gets even more complicated. In the years since Biggie's death, Diddy has positioned himself as the keeper of Biggie's legacy. He's released posthumous Biggie albums, organized tribute concerts, and frequently speaks about his love and admiration for his fallen friend. If 50's accusations are true, it would mean that Diddy has been living a double life for decades, publicly mourning the friend he allegedly had killed. The potential fallout from this scandal extends far beyond just Diddy and 50 Cent. Think about all the artists who've worked with Diddy over the years, from Mary J. Blige and Usher to more recent acts like Machine Gun Kelly and French Montana. If these allegations prove true, how will they reconcile their relationships with a man potentially involved in one of hip-hop's most notorious murders? Will they stand by him, or will we see a mass exodus from the Bad Boy family? And what about the other industry figures 50 is implicating? If there really was a cover-up, as he suggests, it would have required the cooperation of numerous people in positions of power. Record executives, promoters, maybe even law enforcement officials. The web of complicity could be vast. If 50 starts naming names, we could see a domino effect that brings down multiple power players in the industry. But let's not forget that these are still allegations at this point. As shocking and potentially game-changing as 50's claims are, they remain unproven. Diddy has vehemently denied any involvement in Biggie's death in the past, and his team is already gearing up to fight these new accusations. We could be looking at a legal battle of epic proportions with the entire hip-hop world watching. The timing of these allegations is also interesting. Diddy has recently been in the news for other controversies, including sexual assault allegations and a highly publicized lawsuit from his ex-girlfriend, singer Cassie. Some are speculating that 50's accusations are an opportunistic attempt to pile on while Diddy is already on the defensive. Others wonder if the mounting pressure from these other scandals has somehow led to new information coming to light about Biggie's murder. As we wait for more details to emerge, the hip-hop community is in a state of shock and disbelief. Artists are taking to social media to express their thoughts, with some defending Diddy and others calling for a full investigation. Fans are divided, with long-standing loyalties being tested as they grapple with the possibility that one of hip-hop's most influential figures could be involved in one of its greatest tragedies. The impact of these allegations extends beyond just the music industry. Biggie's murder has long been a point of frustration for the LAPD, with the case remaining unsolved despite numerous investigations over the years. If 50's claims lead to a breakthrough in the case, it could have significant implications for law enforcement and could potentially expose corruption or incompetence in the original investigation. As the story continues to develop, we're left to wonder, what's next? Will 50 Cent release the evidence he claims to have, or is he waiting for the right moment to make his next move? Will other witnesses come forward, emboldened by 50's accusations? And how will Diddy respond beyond the initial denials from his legal team? One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. The hip-hop world is holding its collective breath, waiting to see what bombshell will drop next. Because if there's one thing we've learned from hip-hop over the years, it's that the truth is often stranger and more dramatic than fiction. So stay tuned, folks. This could be the beginning of a new chapter in hip-hop history, one that rewrites everything we thought we knew about one of music's most enduring mysteries. The game is changing, the stakes are high, and the world is watching. In the immortal words of Biggie himself, it was all a dream. But now, we might finally be waking up to the truth.